This is the Slots and Sockets Podcast, episode number 82. I am one of your hosts, IRD Moose, and my partner in crime on a Dutch angle.
Dutch angle?
Your camera's kind of cockeyed, so it's artsy. No, there we go.
Sorry,
live production fixes.
My basement has, obviously you can see my place has been updated. Mm-hmm. So slowly but surely you'll see more of this becoming more happy. But yes,
more gamerish, more nerd cave.
Well, it'll probably be some Steelers stuff, F1.
I mean, nobody's perfect.
And you'll see some nerdy stuff. I mean, I'm not that nerdy. I'm not as nerdy as you.
True. Fair enough. But you are, sir.
I am nerdy. That's true. Your name. That's it. I am.
You didn't say you were Turbo Penguin.
I am Turbo Penguin. Sorry if you don't know.
Yes, you are Turbo Penguin. It's our thing. It's our opener. Anyway.
I know. Okay, so a couple of things. It's been a bit. We missed last week, so we apologize. So we just have a couple of things we wanted to kind of touch base as like the big things the last couple of weeks. For me, the biggest, to be honest, for me it's a flop.
Yeah,
was the absolute flop of Intel's 200S update, and so Intel has the 285 to 265, like the 200 series, and they have all of these new CPUs that have launched poorly.
Yep.
Not good performance, and Intel said, "Oh, we're going to fix it." Well, the fix is out, and the fix is that if anybody bought this with the notion that Intel is going to fix it, you, my friend, have been had, because the reviews of the 200S update, as they call it, the 200S, you can't tell a difference. I mean, there's almost no difference. I'm wondering if maybe there's some difference on like the computing side, but when we look at games, a lot of the reviews, of the 200S, there's no difference. I mean, it's going from like 220 frames a second on the 1% lows to 223.
Yeah,
and
that's measurable, but again, you're talking a frame and a half to 2 frames out of 200. You're getting 1% on the 1%.
Okay, and then let's compare that to a 9800X 3D that's getting in the same game 340, 350 frames a second.
Which just confirms that what we talked about a few shows back with Intel slides, that it's all cope. Their claim that Intel's best in game. No, Intel, you just need to shut up and produce a better generation next time.
Well, and I am concerned. I am concerned because the promise and the illusion is that, this is going to fix anything. Guys, this hasn't done anything. This has done absolutely nothing. And I would make the argument that them coming out and saying that they're going to fix it actually has made this worse. Because now my problem is that now when I hear them say, "Oh, it's better," I didn't believe them anyways before, but now I really don't believe it. I really don't believe anything that comes out of Intel right now. Prove it is kind of the notion that I'm going to have on it. Prove me that you're right is going to be is what it is. And it's almost like, oh, that's nice. It's nice that you think you can do that. Let's wait until we get third-party reviews. Because
I mean, on the audiophile side of things, basically what Intel has done is shipped an update that effectively replaces all the speaker wiring in your home theater system with gold wiring, not gold-plated, solid gold wiring, and it reduces your total harmonic distortion by 1% of 1%.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
just
hear it. You can't feel it. You can't see it. I mean, if you're horribly CPU bound, you might get a little bit better performance, but if you're already pulling 200 frames per second,
look.
you're not going to see a
I mean,
difference.
I look at this and I sit the question like, why do you have this? I think the only reason you release this type of stuff is so that in the news reels you can show investors that we're making progress.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I could
Yep.
think that you would absolutely do this is to do investors, because I don't believe game. I mean, at this point in the DIY market, I'm under the assumption that Intel has burned pretty much all of the DIY home builder nerd, good
The,
faith they
yeah.
never had to begin with.
Well,
But
they
I mean,
did
they
for a
just
while, but the last
they
couple of years
they
they've shot.
overvolted it. Yeah, they
Yes.
overvolted it. But and
Yeah.
the sad part about this is that they're doing, and switching gears here.
Yep.
Okay, this is our second Intel topic. They're doing it exactly the exact same way again
Yep.
to ARC, because everyone's like, oh, they're going to have NVIDIA chiplets. Well, that's not going to be for. I mean, the earliest I could see is late 26. It's probably not going to be 27, and then that's
Yeah.
probably being generous if we'll see it in 27. But then they're like, the ARC team has basically been gutted. There really hasn't been any meaningful updates on ARC GPUs. They haven't had hardware, even though they had options. It's clear that they weren't interested in really pushing that because
Yep.
they had this NVIDIA thing coming out. But boy, I'm really, really glad I didn't buy an ARC GPU.
Yeah, seriously. I
I
mean,
mean,
I honestly, I was all for it until it actually released and turned out to be a steaming pile of crap. I was hoping it wouldn't, but
I mean,
yeah,
I just I'm because the problem is that the allure of ARC is that you actually would have a third vendor. You could
hmm
choose between AMD, Intel, and Nvidia, and with them just basically just killing it off. But yeah, Tom Petersen was on a podcast and it was brought up, and he just failed to even address future. Now he in the past hasn't addressed it, but
yeah,
when he was with Nvidia, he would address it and all but confirm it without addressing it.
yeah,
Like he would have the nink, wink, wink, nod, nod type of thing, and everyone kind of like the gamers were like, "Oh yeah, okay, got it."
yep,
You
yeah,
could read between the lines.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
and that's
there's no
kind of
reading between the lines because he was like, "No, I'm not talking about it."
the yeah, exactly. That's the really sad part of this whole thing is that on the GPU side, that functionally makes NVIDIA and AMD a duopoly. And if you watch the Gamers Nexus consumer advocacy channel, um, they actually uncover some potentially interesting dealings between NVIDIA and AMD where there might be some stuff going on.
Well,
But I will link that
there's
in the show notes. It's
look
very in
there
depth.
there is some funky stuff
Oh yeah.
going on in the tech world.
There's
There
a
is
whole lot of funny money going around.
there is absolutely money moving on, and I would make the argument funny money specifically around AI.
Oh yeah.
There is absolutely
Did you
funny
watch
money
the
in AI.
video?
I did, and it's very,
Yeah.
very interesting because the notion is that, well, anyways, this wasn't on our topic, but I mean, the notion is that if money just keeps on going back and forth, no one see the thing is that no one's making crap.
Yep.
Because I think the problem is that what's happening is that companies aren't necessarily buying AI, because I firmly believe that behind the scenes, consumers don't really like it.
Nope.
And that's
Yeah.
a normal like response, like, oh, is that AI? I think they like the notion that AI can can make some tasks a little bit easier. But
Mhm.
in general, like I mean this, I do not think that customers want to interact with AI. I don't think they want to replace like their customer support and like, hey, my Amazon package didn't, why didn't come. They don't want to talk to AI.
Yep.
They want to talk
No.
to a person.
I can confirm that the customers I deal with absolutely hate dealing with
Yeah.
AI. If it gets
Because
the right
AI can't
answer
do
off the
it.
bat,
And
well,
yeah, yeah.
yes and no. If it gets the right answer right off the bat, great. Then they're cool. Like, because my employer is using it for case deflection and a few other things. But that's the thing is if the customer isn't getting the answer that they need for from the AI, then they come and talk to people like me, and they're not happy that they had to deal with AI and get the wrong answer off the bat, or just get get a message like, "Oh, I couldn't figure it out, so I'm sending you off to a human being now." I mean,
Yeah.
but I think where people don't like it the most is when they get shoved to an AI and they're not told it's an AI. Like, the AI that my employer uses, we make it plain that, "Hey, you're dealing with an AI, and you probably wanna double check these answers." But, um, yeah, and I think this kinda goes back to Intel and their GPUs, because they never really were strong at all in AI, and with this huge boom in AI, if they'd been able to
I
get
mean,
something that, even if it wasn't great in gaming, if it could compete on the AI side, they could have potentially had something, because at the very least, they'd have people buying those GPUs up for, server clusters and stuff like that, which could have potentially saved the project and gotten it moving again. But I don't see I really don't see anything surviving past Celestial, and it's
well, the
entirely
notion.
possible that Celestial may not even hit the market.
Well, and there's some really interesting things. So one thing I would point out for gamers is if you are looking for a stronger CPU with a CPU with a little bit stronger GPU on board,
Mhm.
I just make it very clear you should absolutely not be buying a current gen, or to be honest, anything from Intel if
Yeah.
your goal is to actually use the onboard graphics for something other than like YouTube or some very, very light just video output.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is that the soonest we'll probably see some of these Intel APU with NVIDIA GPUs is probably going to be at the earliest 27.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably a push to see if that'll actually come through. But
Well, yeah, and
um
that's supposed to be Panther Lake, I believe,
and
which is two generations from where we're at now. So,
yeah, I mean
and I would be surprised if we see desktop models of that. We
if
probably
you need
won't.
an a if you need an a now the question will be, and I mean this, um do people view the same thing with Intel on the laptop side? Because we have the AI Max 395
Mhm.
that is really good. You got Strix Halo,
Yeah.
which is again really, really good. um if you have those coming through, they're going to be really, really strong. And
Yep.
even if you had something that was, but I don't think Intel has anything even remotely close to it.
No. No,
So
and that's the thing is,
AMD is going to really just own
their
that market.
their, um their mobile stuff is starting to suffer, but, um, it's still gonna take time for businesses to start picking up AMD-based laptops, because, I mean, just speaking for my experience in business, uh, my employer is still buying only Intel, because really that's all that's available on lease. So, um, it's kind of I mean, I hate to be the guy that's trying to simp for the multi-billion dollar corporation, but I, we need Intel. We need Intel to be a strong player, not just because we need them in the CPU space, but we need a competitor in the GPU space. We need a company that's good with fabs, and it, Intel is just, it looks like Intel's board is trying to speed run selling off the company in little pieces. And basically doing what happened to AT&T. Though that was forced by the government, so, not entirely analogous. But uh yeah, and moving on from Intel and their woes, uh the Xbox Ally X by Asus proves that Windows is garbage. Gotta love
it's
it.
it's really really interesting. I was if you start looking, um, so Windows kicked off the free support for Windows 10,
Yep.
and they thought they would have a bunch of positive uptick. No, they've lost 400 million users.
Yep.
And while Office is doing well, Windows is really doing poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this: the only thing that keeps me having a Windows machine is the notion that I'm waiting for something like Steam OS to come out and provide a seamless gaming platform for it. Because the honest truth is, if I could get rid of Windows right now, I absolutely would. And there's some truth that I might be able to down the road. There's a couple of apps and games that I still like to play, that haven't been moved over to Linux.
Yep.
But yeah, very very interesting.
Well, I mean, if anybody's going to fix it, it's going to be the Bazzite people, because that Bazzite is the popular Steam OS clone. It's not official Steam OS, but we are seeing people loading Bazzite onto things like the ROG Ally X. And in the video that I'm going to link in the description here, the people that played it saw a massive jump in frame rate in some games of as much as 50%, and it fixed all the sleep mode bugs.
Interestingly enough, though, and I'll say, when you do some of these Windows trimming, and there's a couple of different services where they kind of just like got some of the services that are automatically running behind the scenes. There is an improvement, obviously, with Windows 2.
Sure.
When you go from 125,000 threads, active, to 62,000 threads, obviously you're going to see some performance. I think the loaded question is going to be, where is the standard moving forward? I think Steam OS has a really good opportunity to kind of have that standard, because I think that from a install perspective, I'm just a little disappointed that we don't have a Steam OS.
We're getting I think Valve is playing a very cautious game here. I don't think they want to be like, okay, everybody, here's the operating system, and then something big breaks with a specific hardware configuration and they just get crapped all over. I honestly think they're playing it pretty smart, because right now they only officially support Steam OS. Valve does only supports it on the Steam Deck and on the Legion Go, because they did release a pack for the Legion Go, which Granted, it's Lenovo, so not necessarily the best option there, but, if they can release a pack for the Xbox Ally X, I have a feeling what they're gonna do is keep this just to the handheld market because it's a very limited subset of hardware, and they can optimize for that hardware a lot better than just making it a generalized operating system. Now, one thing they could do potentially is go the Apple route and play the game on the desktop side where, oh, well, every 4 or 5 years, of OS upgrades, they just say, "All right, well, AMD 5000 series and older, sorry, you can't upgrade to SteamOS 14. You have to have a 7000 series or greater." And whatever AM6 or AM7 or whatever's current at that point. That is one way they could do it, and I don't know that that would necessarily fly well because it definitely doesn't fly in business. A lot of businesses use Apple products or MacBooks just because, certain things require that.
Well, and you know that Microsoft is trying to go away from. I mean, obviously, the question is like, it seems like they're getting away from hardware.
Yep.
With the notion that they're obviously not. I don't know. I mean, this generation of the ROG Ally X is pathetic.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
it's that's the
if they're
thing is
not
like
going to
it's
make us, if this is what Windows is going to do, then Steam might get there and say, "Man, we're going to fix gaming,"
yeah.
and just take over that aspect, so my Xbox can just be a thing that goes away.
Yeah, and realistically, if I can install Microsoft Office onto Bazzite, which, I mean, sure, I could do a VM if I really wanted to. That's really the only barrier keeping me from switching my desktop over. That and the fact that I don't wanna have to screw with reinstalling everything. So, I mean, one of these days, I might just spin up a new SSD and load Bazzite on it just to see if it works. Just get a cheapy SSD and pull out my current one, plop the new one in, install Bazzite on, and see what happens.
I have my LAN rig I just built,
You
so I
know,
might be interested in trying that.
that might not be a bad idea. I mean,
Yeah,
and I've been considering building a LAN rig because I've got this move I'm working on, and I do still want to go to LAN parties, but I don't necessarily want to use my laptop. But I also have my laptop too, so
well, see, that's what I did. I sold my laptop and built the LAN rig.
Mm-hmm.
I used the Minis Forum X3D motherboard, which is great. So, anyways,
Yeah.
moving on. What else do we have? Windows still sucks.
Well, yeah, that was the last one, I think. So
that was it. So I think on that bombshell, because Windows still sucks.
Windows still sucks until Microsoft changes the game. It always will. So thank you all for watching. We appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. And until next time, have fun storming the castle.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.